This is going to be video number 83 on your Firearms Defense channel. Okay, I'm going to delve into the controversy of self-defense again and shooting to defend your life, which I did on some of my other videos, and created a firestorm of controversy. And this time I'm going to get into the more conventional line of thought about the subject and what some of the other people had to say about it. And I'll delve into some of the other things that I've done about the issue and stuff like that. The first thing I'm going to do for this first video, and there's probably going to be several of them along this line, is I'm going to read verbatim. I'm going to read word for word an article I found in the June issue of the Soldier of Fortune magazine here, and I'll show you the issue I'm going to get. This is a June issue of Soldier of Fortune magazine, and the article I'm going to read is going to be word for word out of this. Now, this article is called Dial 911 and Fry. Self-defense goes legal. The ADNARIM statement by Adam Corwin. This guy Adam Corwin also has a book out, and looks like he's got an advertisement for his book here. It's called After You Shoot, Your Gun's Hot, the Perp's Not. Now What? By Adam Corwin. So anyway, I'm going to get started reading this book. The situation a reasonable person works hard to avoid and sincerely hopes will never happen has happened to you. You decide to produce a firearm and shoot at another human being to save your life or the life of another innocent person. You're gasping for breath. Your gun's hot, the perp's not. Now what? Warning. There is no real consensus on what to do. Some authorities object strenuously to some of what I explore or speculate upon in this book. And since each situation will be totally different, no agreement can be expected. Each situation as it plays out will be its own case and story. Ask batches of people for advice, as I did in developing the ideas that follow, and you'll get batches of different opinions, as I did. The debate over what appears here will never end. It is my sincere hope that you never get to add your personal experience to this chapter. Until court cases set precedent on any ideas in this book, results are wholly unpredictable, and it is you and you alone that is on the line in order to find out. Life comes without guarantees. Remember, it's always better to avoid a gunfight than to survive one. With your ears ringing madly from the blast of your firearm, you run through the civilian response model. 1. Determine as best you can that the immediate threat has been neutralized. Scan your surroundings. 2. From cover, reload. The threat may be over or may not be over. Accomplices may be present or planning to act. The perpetrator may reanimate. An empty gun is dangerous. Your safety and the safety of your family or other innocents should be an honest person's paramount concern at this point, not the murderous villain you just stopped. Scan for witnesses, evidence, and possible other dangers as you reload. The person with the bloody holes relinquished the right to civil treatment by acting in the way that allowed, empowered, entitled, and justified you to legally shoot in the first place. Once the immediacy of your justifications ends, when the perp has been neutralized and you're sure that you're physically safe for the moment, proceed to further ensure your safety, along with that of the criminal who just assaulted you. 3. Call your attorney without further delay. Very briefly describe the highlights of the situation, protected by the privacy of attorney-client privilege, and ask your attorney what to do because you're traumatized and in no condition to do so yourself, while realizing that you have started the billing clock and incurred the sizable retainer you've both already discussed. Your attorney should then immediately call 911 for an ambulance and a police response while rushing to the scene to help defend you, as you've previously discussed, the same as the police would do. Your attorney's call to 911 prevents you from blurting out agitated, unintentional, adrenaline-clouded statements into a police recorder that can and will be used against you. Most attorneys I've spoken to reject this idea. See the chapters later where they speak. When police finally respond, you have your reloaded firearm in a safe place, removed from the incident scene before answering the door. If you're outdoors, the sidearm should be reholstered or secured in your vehicle. Expect the police to ask for custody of it. 5. If the police arrive before your lawyer, answer the door or greet police at the scene with your hands open and palms up, picture ID and your lawyer's card on one of them, and say, "I'm Phil in the bank, thank God you're here." If your attorney arrives first, stand quietly in the background, let your representative do everything, and quietly observe. Don't agree, disagree, explain, expand, not agreement or disagreement. Say nothing, observe. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Let your attorney earn the steep fees. If you must speak, take your attorney aside and speak privately, quietly. If it's just you and the man, when they start asking questions, and they will, you can say your name and the magic 7 words. "I need to speak with my attorney." That's called invoking your rights and has legal weight. That's supposed to stop them, but it won't. But it's important to state. It creates legal protections for you if they press on, and they will. You need to read them the ADNARIM reverse Miranda statement on the back of your lawyer's card, or just show it to them. Here's the statement, the ADNARIM statement. "I am interested in cooperating and will exercise my right to remain silent after reading this statement. Please do not attempt to violate my rights in this regard. I want to speak with my attorney. I respectfully ask you to honor this without any purpose of evasion and insist my lawyer be present prior to and during any questioning without exception. I refuse consent to any search of my person, papers, premises, vehicle, immediate location, or effects. I invoke my rights under the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution and any applicable federal or state laws. If you Mirandize me and ask if I'll speak without my attorney present, the answer is no. Thank you for your cooperation, and may I have a glass of water, please?" The short version of the civilian response model is: make sure you're safe, reload while scanning your surroundings, call your attorney to immediately call 911, secure your firearm, meet police open-handed with ID and lawyer's card, read or hand over the ad honorem statement if needed. I said people disagree on what to do or say, and the steps and statements above may have already raised some questions in your own mind. I have my own concerns and make some suggestions later. Lawyers around the nation may choose to adopt this version or the ad honorem model and statement, or not, or invent their own, or disagree completely, or do nothing. The worst approach, in my opinion, even though it seems to be the most popular. No one can have a clear understanding of its implications until it ends up in court more than once. With that in mind, explore some of the thoughts I got from experts in the later chapters. Why you should remain silent. You will be the least capable of making coherent statements with good word choices and chronological accuracy immediately after the shooting or other violent confrontation, even though the urge to talk will be overpowering and everyone around you will encourage you to speak. Experience shows that a person's ability to recount events in correct order after a life-threatening trauma is terrible. Every time you're asked to describe something, you will do it differently if you make the unwise decision to start speaking. The versions won't match, and this will work against you later. You will sound like you're making things up even though you're not. That's just the way it is, the biology of it. Hey, you do that whether you're not full of adrenaline and stress and just telling any old story with no microscope up to your backside examining your every inflection. Your veracity will be shot. The inconsistencies are a prosecutor's wet dream. You said this, but then you said, You said this, but then you said this. Which one do you expect us to believe? This is precisely why police wisely do not make statements on the scene or verbal statements after an officer-involved shooting. That's smart, safe, proper, and a model of respect to emulate. The police and authorities you come in contact with will encourage you to do otherwise. They will act as your friends and try to convince you to speak. After you start talking, you have implicitly waived your right to the presence of an attorney, and everything you say can and will indeed be used against you. The police, in most cases, are not collecting evidence to help you get off. Maybe they should be. Maybe they should be there strictly for the defense of the innocent. Maybe schools should present a more realistic view of officer-friendly at a crime scene, which in a self-defense is really a crime-averted scene. Don't hold your breath. The main job of most shooting investigators is to corral criminals. Don't like that? Go fight City Hall. Some guy is holding a smoking gun, some other guy is lying dead at his feet. What would you think? Police busy making callers are only indirectly working to defend the innocent. Unfortunately, police are reluctant to admit this and may say the opposite. Speaking of opposites and what police might deny, police are trained to act and respond differently than civilians might imagine. That a retired police officer confides, I was trained to think about the aftermath and how to avoid the legal issues. I love that you're being a contrarian, Alan. The only way to solve things is to look at them from all angles and not just the accepted or assigned correct angle. Okay, I'm going to close this off here because I'm about 12 minutes or 13 minutes into this, so I'm going to continue this on the next video I make. I'm going to continue reading this and finish it up. Now I'll see you in the next video.